Good Monday afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day. I just decided to come on and do some unboxings and kind of commiserate with my subscribers, which I really appreciate it. Before you come in the chat, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. Right now upstairs it's pretty nice up here. We haven't had a lot of sun today. It's been pretty tolerable as far as the weather goes, and I had to run out to the dentist, and I do have some items to show, but I'll probably do that tomorrow because we definitely need to get these videos in. So I'll give it just a few minutes. I usually just come live, boom, here I am. That's usually how I do it. I usually don't schedule anything, but we'll give it just a few minutes. I do have 3 packages from some resellers. There's Jen and there's Brian. Welcome in, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. Went to the good old dentist, and that's weird. It says, "Hi, John." Is that a YouTube thing or something? It could be. But I just wanted to come on. I did go to the dentist. There was a little bit broken off that tooth, and he kind of had to rebuild it a little bit and put some pins in there. And he's really a good dentist. And yeah, see, I can smile, and I have that was the tooth right there that was missing since Thursday. I think it came out like about maybe 11:30 or 12 because I'm a night owl, or have been known to be. So he fixed it, and we made sure the bite was right. And he goes, "I love you to death, but make sure that bite's correct, before you leave here." And it was really funny because the dentist that recommended him thought a lot of me, and it seems like I've kind of stolen the heart of this one. So anyway, of course, I did have to get a shot right in the front there, but I'm used to that. So, I'm pretty tough, guys. So I remember one time I went to the dentist and I had a tooth broke off that had to be cut out. Well, sometimes the dentist will give you some kind of medication to calm you down. Well, I wasn't afraid of him. And he gave me these 2 pills, and I took them, and I could kind of feel them working. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and then I went to the dentist, guys, and I didn't remember getting to the dentist, being taken back there to the dentist. And when I came out, I didn't remember that. I didn't remember the ride home. And I crawled up in the bed. It was about 8 o'clock. And I didn't remember nothing. And I told him, I had that second appointment. I said, "Do not give me anything like that again. When I feel like that I'm not in control of a situation," I said, "I could imagine how I looked as my husband led me out of that, from the leaving the dentist." And I was just so, and I said, "I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of the dentist." And it was like that medication just really zonked me, and I didn't like it. I like to know what's going on, and boy, it really done something that, I was like, "Oh my God, don't give it that to me anymore. Bring the needle." I said, "I don't care how many times you have to shoot it. Do not ever put me on that medicine, give me that medicine again." But anyway, he recommended this dentist because I wanted a good dentist, and he recommended this dentist, and he's really good at what he does. I mean, if a dentist can rebuild a tooth and put pins to make sure it doesn't come out, he's all that. So I was glad to. Thank you. It's a dress. It's a dress, a thrifted dress, by the way. which I did go to the thrift store, but I'll bring all that stuff up here tomorrow and I'll let you look at it. But guys, it's not, to me, I don't care if it came from a thrift shop. You could buy something at a thrift shop that looks very expensive and get it for little of nothing. It's not always about these going in these high-end stores and spending ridiculous money. You don't have to. When you all you got to do is be smart, and you can find these things in thrift stores and there's no shame in it. Because I'm sure the person that wore this before me loved it, and there's no shame in that. But anyway, I'm glad to see you guys. I figured I needed to come on because I've been on for a while, and everything's been settled in the estates, and I'm just kind of catching my breath from it. And yeah, you never know what you can do until you have to do it. And there's Lenore, welcome in. But I got 3 packages today, and I felt like that, we belong to a very, I've been in chat, the community is very loving and respectful, and it's just good to come on and share these things with you guys and to really promote these people, because I spend a lot of time with them, in the chats and everything, and just to reflect that caring and that, I think so much of all of you. And it's just wonderful. We've never met, but there's something there. Thank you, Jen. That could have, and I totally agree. Sometimes, we need to work a little bit harder. And thank you for dropping that, Lenore. Really appreciate you. And we need to really, guys, you can see it. I'm like this. I promote other people instead of me because that's my personality. I've always been that way. Thank you, Lenore. I've always been that way because sometimes you have to learn to appreciate other people and share them with other people. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, guys, it's not all about me, 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 me. It's about someone else. And that's one reason why I do this, because I do appreciate these resellers and I've really come to really love them. However, we've never met in person, but it's just that connection with people that, you know, that makes it so worth it. It really does. What's Shannon? Excuse me, guys. Hello? Whoops. Hello? Let me see what. Hang on, guys. I had a call from downstairs. I'm sorry. Must be something going on. I got 2 messages here, guys. Hopefully, thank you, Lenore. Hopefully, my mattress and my 2 new appliances have not arrived yet. But let me see what she wanted, because we had to wait on that. One of them had to be gotten from another facility because the one they had on the floor was sold. Hello? What is it? What is it? Okay, well, you guys be careful, okay? Alrighty. All right, bye bye. I'll talk to you later. Be careful. All right, bye bye. Sorry, guys. My baby that is 37 years old has got an earache. She lives here with us because we have a huge house. And she's got an earache, so he's going to take her to immediate care. So, I know she has allergies. It could be connected with that, but she'll be all right. She just needs to be checked. But she may be 37 years old, but she's still my baby. So I was wondering why the cars. I thought, oh no, don't tell me those delivery people are here and I'm up here in the middle of a video. But anyway, he'll take her and have her looked at. So we're going to go ahead and begin with these packages. And this one, hang on, let's go up here. Wait a minute. Okay, already did. Okay, that's good. All righty, we got it. So this one is from Kirsten, and you guys know that I love. Yeah, she's not distraught, but there's something going on with her ear, so my husband's going to take her to the immediate care and have her checked out. And yeah, she's. I know she has allergies. Now, when she was a little girl, she was about 2 or 3, and she had to have tubes in her ears. She had 2 sets because when she was not talking like she should have, and we had her evaluated, and they thought that she had delayed motor planning, but that wasn't the case. She couldn't hear because she had 3 cc's of fluid on her middle ear. So she was about 2 or 3, and they took her in and put tubes in. And guys, it wasn't long after that, her vocabulary was a lot better, and she couldn't hear, and we didn't know. And the doctor came out and he said, I didn't realize she had that much fluid on her middle ear. They do a tympanogram, and that measures the volume of fluid in your middle ear. So then she had to have another set. And then they took, one of them fell out on his own, and the other one didn't. So they had to go pull it out. And so she had a tiny little hole in her eardrum, but it did grow back together. But yeah, she's had problems with allergies since she was a little bitty girl. So she wasn't distraught or said, Mom, you know, she'll be okay. She's with her daddy. You know, they'll let me know what's going on. But he took her on down to the immediate care. And sometimes, you know, allergies are bad and they can cause a lot of things to people. But in the beginning, you know, she had 2 sets of tubes when she was a little girl. And you know, but she'll be fine. She's with her daddy. So we'll find out what's going on with her, because maybe her ear is bothering her. But the first one, this is from Kirsten, and you guys know how I love vintage jewelry. And if it's antique, it's even better. And thank you for your prayers, Lenore, and thank you for sharing. That's so important, guys, to share people out, because it gets your channel exposed to other people, and it just helps in the long run. And I really appreciate that, Lenore. And I thought, oh no, don't tell me that stuff's here, you know. But we're still waiting on our stove that has to come from another place. And thank you, Jen. She'll probably be all right. She probably needs some medicine or something, but they'll take a look in her ear. The guy that we took her to, the ear, nose, and throat guy, retired about 5 years ago. So if need be, and thank you, Brian, if need be, we'll take her something, you know, to a specialist or whatever we need to do. And she might be 37, but she'll always be my little girl. So this is from Kirsten. Of course, you guys know I love vintage jewelry, antique even better, but I love the vintage jewelry. So, Lenore, if you would drop Kirsten's channel. Kirsten is a very sweet person. She has magnificent things. She really does. And she's just, you know, a good, down to earth person. And, you know, she's just. I sent Happy Ducky. I found it amongst my hoard. I know I'm getting off the subject. I sent her a it was supposed to be a Betsy Johnson, but it was not. Yes, absolutely. And it had the tag on it and everything like that, but it was not real Betsy Johnson, and I can tell you why. Number one, Betsy Johnson's initials are always outlined in black. And when I turned over the other side, the stamp was not complete. So it was mass produced, but I thought it was so cute, and I thought of her immediately, and I wanted her to have it. And I told her it's not real, but I thought of her and I thought it was cute and I thought she'd like it. So I sent it to her, and she's just as happy as she can be. So we're going to go ahead and open this. We never show anybody's address because of the privacy thing, and it's not good to do that. So we do not show that ever. That way it respects the privacy of another person. So open. I'm really excited, guys. I know what this is. So we're going to open. There's 2 boxes in this shipment, and I'll show you what it is. I love vintage jewelry. I should have been born in a different time, because well, I've been told I'm an old soul several times. Oh my God, guys, you are going to die when you see this. Is it your daughter's birthday, Lenore? Well, happy birthday to her. Well, I read that and I didn't see today. Happy birthday. And there's Shell Bell. Welcome in, sweetie. And, our children get older, and we're like, where did the time go? It's like, my goodness, they were just a baby. It seems like, a few days ago. But we never lose that. Oh my God, guys, you're going to die, because my heart's already palpitating right now. Look, this is vintage. Look at this. It is a buckle bracelet enameling, and look at that beautiful scroll work on that. Isn't that magnificent? And it is gold toned. And I'm like, oh my God, how beautiful is that? And of course, it's just a beautiful representation of the bygone era. And let me slide this on, and it fits like that. So it fits perfectly. And there's Red Road Reseller. Welcome in. I haven't seen you in a while, sweetie. And it's so good to see you. But I thought that was gorgeous. Oh, leaves you breathless. Whenever you get a package, you're always excited and you know what's in it. But then there again, we have another bracelet. Must be bracelet time. And a ring. And this one is a very old one. I think this one's like an antique. And I just love antique jewelry because it has so much character. Look at that. Let me get the camera steady so it'll get it all in there. Come on, camera. Let me see. Look at that bypass. Beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have a little wrist. Let's see how this opens. Right here. Sometimes it's just good to come on and see your people, and it does, like, you just kind of, it's like a bypass thing, and it clicks right back together like so. Isn't that beautiful? And I believe this is antique. Yes, Brian, we miss you. Where have you been, young man? Isn't that amazing? And I also got this ring. I thought it was very unique, and I thought I don't have one like that. Don't us ladies always make those excuses when we want to buy something. Let me take one of these rings off. But it is a double ring. It is adjustable and it is garnet. And I just thought it was really, really neat. And you put it on, it's adjustable. Maybe I'll put it on this finger. And it's adjustable, and you have this little ring. Let me put the little one on first. And I just thought it was very novel, and it looks like this. It comes down. I may have to put it on a longer finger, but it is sterling. I may have to open it up just a little bit. It is sterling. My fingers aren't really long, but we can make it work. And voila, that's what it looks like. You have your little chain, and that is garnet. And I thought, well, I don't have one like that. Your justification. And it fits like that. It comes down like that. Isn't that neat? Yeah, sometimes, but I just thought it was so unique. And I think she had two of them, or she showed one. I believe she had two. Thank you. And I thought it was just so different, and I really liked it. Where you can, of course, my fingers aren't as long as, but I think it looks really nice. So let's move that over. But these older bracelets, guys, this Victorian era, the Art Deco era, which reminds me, I want to show you something else. Let me turn this light on. I got this from Raven's Chest Dug, and it is platinum. And look at that diamond. It's over a carat. And the ring itself is platinum. And I happened to get a hold of that before someone else did, but it's just beautiful. I love Art Deco. It's one of my favorite things. There's your sidebar there. Look at that diamond, guys. That is a diamond. It's over a carat. And I'd be willing to bet that the diamond is from the old mine. Yes, it was. He kind of contacted me about it, and I'm like, no, I didn't, but let me see what you have. And I picked it up, and it's so beautiful. And I wore it today. Let's see if I can't get it to, but look at that diamond. That is definitely old mine cut all day long. And I wore it today. And when you're wearing, that was in place of my wedding ring. And look at that diamond. And I was in there waiting on the dentist, and the light caught it. And man, you talk about reflective. This thing was, it's just beautiful. And back in the day, they cut their diamonds. These lapidaries really knew what they were doing. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's just a standalone thing that you don't have to wear anything else with it, because this piece speaks volumes. So I did pick that up. Like I said, I'm an Art Nouveau person, and I can't help it. I know, Charbel. I was laying there waiting on the dentist, and I'm like, I was kind of moving my hand back, and there was three cast of light that come off of that. It almost looked solid. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that thing is fabulous. And that came from Doug. Speaking of Doug, I have a package from him. It could, because the reflective properties of this ring is just, that's why I know it's probably one of those old mine diamonds. It has to be, because of someone knew what they were doing when it was cut. And if you don't cut a diamond right, you don't get that spectral view. You don't get the spectral light that casts off the facets. You have to do it right, you know. Not that I'm an aficionado, but just generally speaking, you know. So I'm not a professional at all. We'll put that right over there. And thank you for dropping that. But Doug's another one. He really, I think his partnership with Tanya really brought out the best in both of them. And there's Happy Ducky. I know Happy Ducky. I saw that. I was talking about that earlier. I'm glad you like it. Like I said, it's not the real deal, but it was so cute. I just thought about you and I said, well, I know who's getting that because I was going through my room, you know, and trying to make heads or tails of what was going on. Sometimes we just put things in certain places and we'll say, well, it'll hold until then. So, anyway, and Doug, he really thrifts a lot of nice items as well as Tanya, but I think their partnership really brought out the best in each other. I really think it did, and they work well together. And I think it's great. And you know, sometimes when we are accompanied with the right person and everything clicks, there's nothing any better than that, you know. And there's Alfonso. I'm having a blessed day. And you, Alfonso, I hope you're having a great day. And it's good to see you. So we're going to go through this thing. Oh, Lord. And, you know, I was in the dentist's office, and the dentist, he was in there with me and working. And he said a little girl came in and she was Amish and she was deaf and mute. And, you know, guys, sometimes in the Amish community, they only marry within their sect. And if they marry someone too closely related, it causes birth defects. And he said he would have loved to taken her home with him. Um, she was about 7 or 8 years old, and she was deaf and mute, guys. And you know, she was scared, and he said she was the sweetest thing. And he said that he would have loved to have taken her home with him, you know. But, you know, the Amish do marry within their own people, and sometimes along the way they marry a cousin or whatever, and there's birth defects as a result of it. But the Amish, they, you know, there's things that they're different from a lot of us and their beliefs, but they're good people. They're excellent carpenters. Number one, if you have something built by an Amish person, you can guarantee that it's done right. And that's what makes the world go around, guys. We're all different and things like that. There's different nationalities, but we're all people. And sometimes people have a tendency to judge people because of their nationality. Quite frankly, I find it quite intriguing because, yes, they do, Happy Ducky. I'm so glad to see you. And we're all the same. It doesn't matter. You know, God did not create us for us to judge people because we're all people. He made us all different. And, you know, wouldn't it be boring if we were all the same? You know, and it's just a wonderful thing to see people that speak different languages, the cultures. Yes, they can, Brian. Because they're taught from very young how to do all this stuff, sewing, cooking, and they're taught very young, you know. And it just, we're, like I said, we're all people, no matter who we are. We were all created by the same God, and we really A lot of times we really need to remember that. So I'll quit yakking. And as you can see, guys, I go from one thing to another because one thought provokes another. So that's how I am. You're like, how did she get on that? That's how I am, guys, because I'm kind of a forward analytical thinker, you know. But anyway, look at this beautiful sterling silver pen. And this is from Doug. Isn't that beautiful? And it's sterling. Look at the little ball on that. And here's the back. I'm a bow, heart, flower person through and through. And there is your back. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. And Brian's the same way. And I've been known to adopt people. So if you get adopted, resistance is futile. So, and Brian's just like the brother. I had a brother, I had a stepbrother, but we were really not that close. And Brian kind of came in and filled in that gap. You know, I just adopt people, and once you're adopted, you can't get out of it. So, Brian's laughing. You are, once I get my claws into you, you're just stuck, right? So, next up, we have said, one thing about me, guys, you never have to wonder about what's on my mind because I'm going to tell you, that's just me. I'm just very open and honest about things, and I try to do it without offending people, but it's just me. Look at these guys. This is kind of Victorian, kind of that Art Nouveau look, if I can hold still. And their earrings, aren't they beautiful? Let me get still here. I'm on camera. Let me move in a little bit. Ugh, it's wanting to be so dilatory today. Isn't that beautiful? Again, it's in that being honest while being tactful is a wonderful goal to have. That's true, Happy Ducky. It's really true. And sometimes you find when you work with people, everyone's different. And we have to, sometimes it's about your delivery. If I find that, in life that, even in my auctions, people, we don't know what people go through. And it's good to make them laugh. And that's my personality because, you've seen me be quite silly, but it helps people to get away from the things that they might be going through. And, someone might say, gee, I was in a really down mood, and that person made me laugh and changed my whole day. And never ever think that saying hello, showing love to someone doesn't help, because it does. Because there's people out there that believe they have nobody. And just remember, you're always a somebody, always. So there she goes again, getting off subject again. Well, that's me, guys. I might be talking about something that'll remind me of something else, and I'll go off on a tangent talking about that. And you're like, how did she get there? Well, maybe it's something that I only understand. Who knows? But I try to be kind of tactful, because I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I treat people like I want to be treated. Oh my goodness, I may have to extend that. But this is sterling, and look at those stones on that. And this is, I believe this is an older piece. Look at that bead right there. Is that not magnificent? And this is kind of like a mesh, and it drops, and you have these beautiful sterling silver things right there. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, you know me, I have to have the matching earrings. I'm so matchy. But I think a lot of us are. We like things that match. And so here are the matching earrings right here with that same design as that. I thought that was pretty novel, guys. I really like that. Of course, it's older. You guys know how I roll, and there's that. And there will be yes, Brian, there will be a sale this coming Friday. I'm going to make myself because I think sometimes being on YouTube has a lot to do with, people get used to you being on, and it's a gradual thing, and you have to, sometimes you just got to put it out there. And I've got some, I'll show you guys tomorrow. Man, do I have some great things. So, sometimes, if you have a channel, you have to work your channel. You can't sit back and think, maybe maybe I'm going to do it on my personality or whatever. You have to do it. Sometimes it's not, you have to work your channel in order for it to grow. You have to. No one ever grew anything without work, right? And I also got this. It looks like it's looks like amethyst and garnet, and I thought this was really pretty. It was unique and different. And just look at that sparkle on that. Isn't that beautiful? And there's the shoulders of the ring right there. And I thought it was pretty, so I'm just going to put it on. Ladies, that time of day when we may have had too many potato chips the night before, or something salty. But isn't that beautiful? And you get puffy paws, as I call them. See, and that was Doug's package. Say, darn it, we get older and we puff up and all in the wrong places sometimes, right, ladies? We have a tendency to do that. Thank you, Brian. But, I look at it like this, I've seen some of the most beautiful women, but they were so hateful. And I think if you're not, it's one thing to be pretty on the outside, but another to be pretty on the inside. We have to soup for lunch, so I'll be getting puffy paws today with all that. Yeah, there's a lot of sodium in soups because they use it as a preservative, salts in ice cream as well. And they're very attractive, but they're so mean to people. And to me, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what you look like. It's how you relate to other people. Hi, Merche. Welcome in. It's how you relate to other people. And I'm telling you, there's not one person that walks this earth is better than the other one. What makes us better is the kindness we show to other people and things like that. Like they say, let your light shine and do it in a positive manner. But guys, and even the people that are attractive, their looks are going to change. And, find a personality. They need to find a personality and treat people with respect, because there's going to come a day where their looks are going to fade. It happens to all of us. Their looks are going to fade and have something more than vanity going for you. I'm not talking about you guys. You know what I mean? But that's my belief. You know. Now the women that are beautiful, talented, and kind, we hate those. Well, the thing of it is, there's such a stigma with being thin as a rail. Okay, Jen. Well, I'm glad you do, sweetie. models are thin, they have no figure, and they're really skinny, and I know, Happy Ducky, and they're really thin. I would rather have a little more weight. There's nothing wrong with being thin because some people are like that. Brian is about 6'1", and he's really a thin fella. And Brian said she picked me, right? But that's how some people are. But yeah, a lot of them don't eat, and I would rather have a little more meat there, just in case, but the world tells us that the fashion magazine says if you're not a size 1, then you're not worthy. And it's just crazy. And I think that all of us are beautiful in our own way. There are things about us that are beautiful to other people, you know, and they probably don't eat, but there's things sometimes we need to have more of a loving personality toward people. Sadly, there are people who enjoy being mean and others who do not appreciate kindness and even go so far as to distrust simple acts of kindness. And that's so true, Marche, because there are people that have been stepped on most of their life. They're afraid to trust other people because of that, and that's understandable. And sometimes you just because they can't understand, they think that, well, what does that person want? And they've been knocked down so much that that's all they know. And it's really sad, but that does happen, Merche. It really does, and they've just been so battered down, and they think that when someone pays them a compliment or they're kind, they think, well, what do they want? You know, I guess it would be Hollywood Ozempic chick. Yeah, that Ozempic, it is for weight loss, but any medication has side effects. And sometimes people have different frames and they're built different. But society has taught us that if, like I said, if we're not a 1 or a 2, then they don't accept people. Well, people are different, people's frames are different, and people needs to accept that and stop the judging of other people. They're people, they have feelings just like everyone else, and stop being so darn mean to people. YouTube is a wonderful community to be a part of, and at the same time, a very interesting social experiment to observe. And it really is. There's a lot of good people in this community. If I had not been involved in YouTube, I would not have been exposed to you good people. And it changes things, and we like to be around positive people that show love and understanding to one another. And it's like, you know, people put vibes off and you can feel it, and if you look for the good in somebody, you're going to find it. If you look for the bad, you'll find that too. But while you're looking for the bad, go to the mirror and take a look in it and say, am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. And just really treat people on an even level. And I'm not saying that about anybody in this chat. I'm just saying, for instance, they often say when you point a finger, there's 3 pointing right back at you. So if we remember that, it takes us a long, long way. So this one is from Bruce and Dennis. And that's another good group of guys. I enjoy my Mondays and Thursdays with them. They're so much fun, and I just enjoy both of them. They're good. They're good guys. You won't find any better almost than them. And their personalities are different as well. But we all have a good time in there. And thank you for dropping that. And you become so, I don't know what you would call that. You become so intertwined with that person that you feel like you know them, even though it's a typical Bruce's box. Always know Bruce's box from anyone else's because they're always that color. And you feel intertwined with people, and there is negativity out there, guys. And some people do not realize how it makes other people feel. And sometimes, guys, you just have to tune it out. You're a good person, and just walk away from it. Just if there's drama, just walk away. It's not worth it. It drains your energy as a human. And like me, I said, hey, this is me. Am I blunt? You bet. I've always been like that. But I'm blunt in a good way, not blunt insulting another person. And sometimes you just have to say what's on your mind. And that way it helps you kind of move on. And there's Leslie. Welcome in, sweetheart. I was a bit intimidated by their show in the beginning, but as I have come to know them, I enjoy them. Right. They're just really down to earth. And, you just sometimes we're standoffish as people when we don't really know a person. But once you get in there and you speak with the people in the chat and kind of commiserate with the seller themselves, you find out more about them, and you really enjoy them and their personality. And it's good to see you, Miss Leslie. I hope you're doing well. It's always good to see you. Hey, Rena. Thank you, Rena. Thank you so much. I try not to be too. Sometimes you just got to tell it. And I have this way with people that I can communicate with them and not make them mad. And that's a rare trait. Because sometimes people are kind of, but I believe in being your original self. Is everybody going to like you? Well, no. Do I care? No. Because I'm a human being. I know who I am. And I won't sacrifice that for anyone. I'm not a mean person. I'm a loving person. But sometimes you just got to keep it real. You got to keep it real and live your life not in the bubble of another person. Be yourself. Don't worry about, well, gee, I don't know if that person likes me or not. Just move on, learn from it, and just move on. Because if you think about it, who's it going to bring down? And just move on. And guys, it was an acquired thing. I didn't learn this. I finally, when I was in my 20s, I kind of come out of I was real quiet, if you can believe that. You say to her, she was quiet. Let me clean my phone and make sure that's the right person. But I was really a quiet person because sometimes when we deal with things that are not very savory, we kind of withdraw back into our own little world, and we don't want to let anyone in. And Brian knows, that's why he's laughing. But I used to be very shy and quiet until I got to the point where, I just told it like it was and tried, what they say, the true meaning of life is really telling the truth and not offending somebody. Now, sometimes the truth offends people, but at least you spoke. When we speak the truth stands where everything else doesn't. and you just tell it and move on. Yeah, Brian, he knows. He knows. Me and Brian's had. You think women talk long on the phone? Put me and Brian on the phone together. We have spoke before, and we mean a lot to each other. And I've spoke with some others as well, and we really mean a lot to one another. And we'd be on the phone for 3 hours. Brian's like, I can't believe she just said that. Hey, Deborah, welcome in. Brian knows me, guys. He accepts me for who I am, and we love each other like brother and sister. He knows how. Hey, Eldine, welcome in. He knows me, and when I start talking about myself, he laughs because he knows I'm telling the truth. But anyway, moving on. I get off the subject a lot, guys, because certain scenarios will remind me of something, and I start talking. So this is from Bruce and Dennis. And thank you guys. And make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you would, after you can, leave a comment on this video. It helps a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. Let's see if I can't find my. Good Lord, Gina, what'd you do with it? I'm telling you, I could be more organized. And when I get that way, I'll let you know. This is a beautiful, and I think this is Trifari because Bruce got me hooked on that. Bruce is like, gee, don't tell her something because she'll tell it. Well, only if it's good. I'm just I believe in telling it and moving on. It's not Trifari, but it looks like Trifari. And yes, that is exactly, look at the scintillation and the sizzle in those stones. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, that was right up my alley. Man, that thing's a. Thank you. What was your. I'm sorry, Red Road. Your name was. What was it? I haven't. What was. You'll have to jog. Lena, I am so sorry, honey. I forgot. It slipped my mind because I recognized you when you came in, and I'm like, and welcome in. And I knew your name, but it was like, I kind of forgot there. Yeah, New Year's Eve. And I do have some earrings that are Trifari that would make that really rock. But guys, I always, when I go out somewhere, I dress up all the time. All the time. It's like, that's me, and people accept it because they can't change it. I'm dealing with a situation where places I go often as a person, they're just that dislikes me. It makes me feel sad, but I don't want to give in and give up spaces I enjoy because of one person. Well, don't do it, Happy Ducky. Let me tell you something. You're a human being, you deserve respect, and hey, don't give up what you love for anybody. Don't do it. They'll get over it and just be the same light-hearted, kind person you are. Don't let them push you. You don't have to sometimes don't let someone steal your joy because life is short, and if they don't like you, then it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself for someone else's stupidity. Whoops, there I went again. But no, you're a person, you're a beautiful person, and there will be people in this world that won't like you for some stupid reason. There will be people that start stuff that they lie about it. No, don't. I've got a cup that says that. Don't let anyone ever dull your sparkle. And don't do it. Who makes them better than you? Remember that. If they think they're better than you, well, let them think that. People live in their own world sometimes, and they use it as an excuse to be hateful. Pretty soon, people are just be yourself. And if they come at you, don't say nothing, just let it slide. I always say, if you give a guilty man or woman enough rope, they'll hang themselves. So that's what you got to do. And it's hard. Respect is the first thing I promote, right? I give respect. I expect the same. I will never allow to feel uncomfortable. And I move on. And sometimes you have to, Lenore. You really have to. You don't want people to steal. If you're enjoying something, you know, just just be happy and forget about them, because they're going to be them no matter what. They're going to be them. There's two things you cannot do. You can't control what people say or what they do. You might as well forget it, because they're going to do it anyway. And just kind of don't let it, don't, if they bring their harp to the party, ignore it. There's another one of my sayings. And just be you. And if you enjoy being somewhere, you know, yeah, my husband, he's a real quiet guy, and if I go somewhere, I'm gonna be dressed to. I mean, I've always been that way. I have an aunt that was like that on my dad's side, and I inherited. What can I say? Look at these guys. How beautiful are those? And I inherited that. Sometimes, guys, we inherit things from our relatives. Dress to the nines and then add the nine and carry the one, right, Shellbell? And there's nothing wrong with it. Somebody got it. I always said, if someone had a problem with what I was wearing, their head turns two ways. If you don't like it, so what? I'm going to wear it. I'm not going to let people dictate to me. These are Trifari. That's probably why I bought them. Like I said, you can turn your head that way or that way. It's your choice. Because I'm not going to change being me for anyone, because I don't try to change people. I accept people for who they are. And that's that. That's how I've always been. I've been on both sides of the track, the timid track and the fast track. And I know, aren't they beautiful? Gotta have class. Yep. Yeah, and don't let anyone tell you you're less than. And there's Jessica. Welcome in, sweetie. It's good to see you. Jessica, she promotes a lot of people. She really does. And it's so good, to be promoted and get your face out there to different people. And you're not going to do it with your mouth shut. Like a client's daughter says, if you don't ask, you don't get, right? And thank you for dropping that channel. And, yes, I am very direct, but I do it in a way that most people know. Have you ever fell in this category? If you don't want to know, don't ask me, because I'm going to tell you, because life's too short to run around in regret and misery, because I believe the truth shall set you free, and it will. Thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate that. It will set you free. And we should not try to be who we're not. We're who we are. And don't change it. If you're a good person and you're kind to people, and if somebody don't like it, too bad. I'm getting too old for someone to change me anyway. So there's that. But I was told in middle school that the truth will set you free without any consequences. And it does, because if you know the truth and you only have to tell the truth once, because it's going to come out eventually, and you never want to be on the receiving end of being caught. I know. And just be happy with the person you are. And if somebody don't like it, and there will be people who don't like it, and if someone is out to change you, that's not about kindness, that's about control, and we have to be accept people for the way they are because God made them that way. And we're not perfect. There's not one of us perfect down here, and sometimes people just and I had guys, it took me a long time to learn that, but once I grasped that concept, it was like you can't control what they say or do, they're going to do it anyway, and just move on as long as you know that you did the right thing, and that your conscience is clear. And if someone's guilty, I'm sure their conscience is not clear, and it will catch up with them sooner or later. Spread, be kind to each other, which you guys are, because it's not worth, because there are people that are more sensitive than others, and they get really upset about that. Yes, Alfonso, true is the best card, because a lie will need to continue saying more than lies to keep it up, and that's true. And you better have one heck of a memory to remember what you said, because eventually you're going to get caught, and then you're going to be sitting there holding the rotten eggs that you tried to throw at somebody else, right? Hey, pack your bags. Welcome in, sweetie. Good to see you. We went through a couple. We're on Bruce's haul now from Bruce. Look at this pen. Of course, you knew why I made that decision, because it's pink. Imagine me liking pink. And there's that one. And welcome in, sweetie. We're chewing the fat and talking about jewelry. And thank you, Lenore. And just one of those talks that, okay, talking about beautiful, kind people in this community. Ellie C, and I know you all know her, we were bidding on this, and I thought, well, if Ellie really wants that, I will step down. And she bought this for me, guys, with these beautiful, beautiful beads in it and the little flowers. And she purchased that for me, and I got all choked up. And it's just beautiful. And it's the giving. Of course, it is pink. Let me bring it in so you can see it a little better. Look at the flowers in that. And it's just the right length. And it's just beautiful. And that's what I'm talking about. The guys, when I first got started, um, I'm a very trusting person. And sometimes I was actually, I'll tell you the whole story. When I first started, I believe I've been at this for almost 4 years, and I was with the wrong person. Yes, and it is so beautiful. I was with the wrong person that did some really things that they shouldn't have, like damaging another person's property and yes, trying to return it. And there's Denise, welcome in, and Judy, welcome in. And they, you know, I was, I don't know, I often look for the good in people and damage something that belonged to me that I knew was not damaged when it left this house. And then another person came into the mix, and I think there was a little bit of um, what shall I say, competition. And I wasn't there to compete with anyone. And I'm telling you guys, there can be some mean people on YouTube, not you guys. And it was like just things like, yeah, that you can't, you're selling something and someone's yakking the entire time. And I'm like, and being me and being blunt, I just said, I said, I'm not sitting up here interrupting you. But you know what? I think being away from they what they thought, they even scheduled a live during my first auction. And I'll tell you why, because they felt like that they would draw people away. And this was my first live, and I knew what they were doing. And I thought, and they thought that they were going to make me to where I didn't want to continue. You know what, guys? It made me stronger. And during making me stronger, it taught me something to really kind of analyze things a little bit closer. But it what they thought was going to break me only made me stronger. It really did. And I'm here to tell you, you have to forgive people, but don't forget, because that sets you up for something else. I'm not going to mention any names, but that's how I got started. And for people to be so dastardly to do things like, I knew why they put scheduled a live during my first auction, because they was trying to cause, right, you have to forgive but you can't forget, and thank you for the hearts. I figure there's an old saying, guys, that goes like this: people can stand a lot as long as they can stand themselves. Well, thank you, Merche. But it led me, it just made me stronger and more, it wasn't going to break my spirit. And that's one thing it never did, because I knew I had potential. And just because some mean girls, I'll say quote unquote mean girls, were like that, they wanted it to defer. Maybe they seen something in me that they were so afraid that I might be successful that they had to do something like that. But I learned from it, I accepted it, and I just moved on. Because sometimes, guys, you just have to say, hey, it happened, it was a bad thing, but never fall into that same trap. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I know, I just call it mean girl. I've heard in Mexican Catholic Church that you are supposed to forgive and forget. Well, you can forgive them, but you don't have to set yourself up to be a doormat. Gina, you're beautiful and kind, and people like you this are just miserable. Myself loves misery, loves company, and that's true. Yeah, and it is. And it's one of the worst, like jealousy is one of the worst things there is. What they dislike in you is missing in them, correct, but you got to keep on shining, right? And it's missing in them. And Gina, I know what you mean. I have anxiety and depression now because of some people and I trust people most now. Yeah, it does. It makes you, Jessica, it makes you kind of shell shocked and gun shy because sometimes people should not live their life with a motive to hurt other people, but unfortunately, that's how some people are. Some people genuinely struggle to be happy for the success of others because they struggle with ideals of self worth. Right. They're like, for instance, gee, there's something, and I'm using Miss Lena as an example, only Miss Lena. And just imagine someone doesn't like Miss Lena because they feel like that her items are better than theirs. And there's Bird on a Wire. Welcome in. And it's good to see you, sweetheart. And, I even had a time where I scheduled a live and someone got mad at me for scheduling it on the same day they did. And I'm like, why would you be? I mean, you can't, it's like Tanya says, if you schedule something, someone else is going to always be on. And a lot of people use multiple devices, but it's, you know, it's not, I just told them, that I love them and I changed my life and I didn't want to do something to come between us and they didn't want to talk about it. And I just told them that I loved them and that was the last I said. If they didn't want to talk about it, it was on them. You shine so bright, forgive, don't forget who trust and keep on moving on. And TCB, yeah, that's my husband's initials. Theodore Curry Bradford, that's his initials. May I ask for prayers to be sent this direction as Joe is having a medical procedure tomorrow and I am a nervous wreck? Absolutely, Jen. Let's all keep Jen in our prayers because this is her husband, and we never know what's going to happen. And we're going to send positivity, light, and love to you, Jen, because that's what this world needs: positivity, light, and love. And we're going to be praying for you, Jen. I know it's when we have a loved one that's having a procedure, we worry and we think about the what if and just and never underestimate the power of prayer, guys. And just keep it, Jen, keep it positive. And we're guilty of diagnosing things before anything ever happens. Just stay positive and whatever happens, Jen, and we hope it's the best for you. Just know that we are with you in those prayers, and just try to relax. I know it's hard, it really is, and you're welcome. And try to relax and know that whatever comes, you will handle whatever is coming. And there's Dana, welcome in. Whatever the outcome, and we're praying for the best. You and Joe are husband and wife, and whatever it is, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it because you are a team. And just stay. Yes, Denise, whatever. We'll put you in there as well. And there's Robin. And I do have a second channel. And Lenore, if you would please drop that. It's Genuinely Gina, and it is based on the Bible. Some of you didn't know. And I would love to, and I got to schedule that because I didn't know if I was the dentist situation. So this is a last minute thing. And I would love to see you guys there. It's called Genuinely Gina. Well, Jen, I think I can feel that you are married, you are a team, you care a lot about each other, and no matter what happens, it's going to be okay, Jen, because you have one another, and we're going to be praying for you. And there it is, guys. That is my second channel, and that will occur tomorrow at 3 p.m. We are in the Psalms right now, and I think you would enjoy it because I think it gives people peace. I'm not a professional, but I believe when there are two or more gathered, God is right there. And it gives people hope, and they can reflect on something positive, and thank you, pack your bags, and it really does. And let me tell, I am full of stories today, guys, and I'll tell you how that got started. If you would have told me, about 2 years ago that I would have a channel like this, I would say, what, me? No way. And I do believe, and I can testify to this, guys, that God, He urged me to do this. Something went like that. And I really believe that, guys. And I really believe that. And I was like, me? And there's Jean. Thank you so much, Jean, and welcome in. But I felt like that I had something to give, and God recognized that. Not that I have no papers saying that I'm this, that, or the other. But I just felt like that, guys. I felt like that it's what I should do, and just know whatever you guys are going through, and it's life is tough, guys, at the best. That there's someone there for you. You don't have to go through this alone. Whatever you're going through and you're keeping it to yourself, snap out of it and call a friend. You can call me if you want to. Call a friend and have a conversation that you've been wanting to have for a long time with someone. Share it with someone. Don't be afraid. Share that and let those emotions go, guys, because they are very detrimental to you. And never be embarrassed for anything that you may have done or something you went through, because, guys, we're all human. We all, the worst thing you can do is not to keep something inside your heart, guys, is the worst thing you can do. It can really bring you down. It can cause so many things that some people become depressed, and depression is a big thing. I'm sure one or all of us have been in that boat at one time or the other, that we felt like that we didn't want to get out of the bed. We didn't want to be around other people. We just wanted to crawl up into that shell that we've created for ourselves because we could not open up. And sometimes we're just really, we don't trust sometimes. But my advice, if you have someone that you're really close to, call them on the phone. If they live in the same town as you two, get together. And just another thing, people think that, well, I don't want to bring this to someone else. Well, if you don't bring it to somebody, you're in trouble. And just get it out of your heart and your mind. And sooner or later, guys, you're going to feel a lot better about it. And we're praying for Denise and Jen. It doesn't matter what, you don't have to say what it is, guys, because God knows. And He knows how you feel. And, sometimes people do not want to share. Thank you, Dana. They don't want to share it because it hurts so bad that they don't like the emotions connected with that. And yes, sometimes we don't even want to get up. I see Resellers YouTube channel as an escape to relax and enjoy. Yes. And guys, that's another thing, we don't know how big of a part YouTube is a lot of people's lives. That it has been a safety net when that person feels like they're falling and spiraling out of control, and then they turn on that channel of positivity and great people, and it gets it off their mind. Because if you dwell too long on something, guys, it's very detrimental, and it gets your mind to something more positive. And that, it's been a life, you wouldn't believe, guys, the lifeline that it has been to many people. It really can. And it's really, and sometimes people try and say things and get people turned against one another. And a lot of it's caused by misinformation, people lying. And, well, gee, you shouldn't like so and so because I don't like them. Well, that's your problem. That's what I would say. That is your problem. And, and it may sound harsh, but it's their problem. Why should I dislike someone else because someone else does? Because they can't get over their pity party and listen to people and accept people for who they are and stop trying to pit people against one another. And that's what happens in a lot of things. And something, guys, if that person really believed that they were telling the truth, they wouldn't be doing that. And I don't, and so many people were hurt by that, guys. And just because, I believe if there's something going on and you get this he said, she said stuff, go right to the source. Do not take into account what another person says. Go right to the person and discuss it. And a lot of times people's feelings get hurt. And a lot of times people lie, guys, and tell you things that's not true. And you're hurt, you're resentful. But if you take it right to that person, and you're welcome, Denise. I don't know what you're going through, sweetie, but we're here for you. It doesn't matter what it is. You're a human being, and we appreciate you. We never know what anyone is going through. Always be open to ask the truth to the person, right? Yeah, Brian, and when it's, I don't know, I have this ability. It's a God-given ability to be able to talk to other people, to be on the outs, not to be with them, but not judgmental and say, well, you should have did this and you should have did that. And just ask them how they feel. And Brian is, I'm glad that he can talk. I mean, we're just like brother and sister. We have that, there's a bond there. I don't know. I've never seen him face to face, but I know what kind of person he is. I know what kind of person he is. Um, and Brian does not realize the gap that he filled in my life, because I'm not around my siblings. We're different people. They do things that I do not agree with. And sometimes, guys, you just have to say, well, this is how I am, this is what I believe in, here it is. What can I say? But I'm not going to change who I am for you. Because if I change myself, then that's control. That's not love, that is control. And sometimes, and I've did it many times in my life, guys, I've walked away from something because I had to. And yes, Shell Bell's right. We have our own boundaries. And, there's nothing more valuable to people in this world to be loved and respected. It really is. It makes us feel like a human being. It makes us a person that, love is something that really, and Brian does love to talk, and he cracks me up sometimes, but he knows that I laugh with him, not at him, and there's a big difference. And sometimes, you know, isn't it ironic sometimes that we can talk to someone that we've seen on YouTube or we've talked to on YouTube that we feel such a bond with, and we've never even laid eyes on each other. Isn't that amazing how that happens? How those connections really happen in our lives that, and it's meant to be because when you fill in a void in someone else's life and you make their day better, you've conquered a lot because there's a lot of sadness out there and stuff like that. And to know that, gee, this person genuinely cares about me. They're not listening so they can run off and gossip about it or snicker about it behind my back. They actually care about me and what I'm going through. I'm not the type of person. I listen, but I'm not going to run out and tell. Yeah, they are, Dana. They really are. I'm not going to run out and talk about it because that's not who I am. I have strangers come up to me and open up to me I've never seen in my life, but I guess there's just something about me that they feel so compelled to do that, guys. And it's like I'm thinking, I'm standing there, well, I don't know this person, but boy, they're really opening up. And I'm like, and I look at that as a blessing and a gift that people feel that they can open up without judgment and things like that. Gina, it may seem wacky, and thank you for the hearts, but I love Elvis Week because I meet so many beautiful people coming together for the love of another. I only wish I had your Elvis items for Elvis Week. I know. The only thing, I want to show this to Denise. Excuse me for a minute. If I can find it in this mess. Okay, pack your bags, and Denise, there's going to be a heck of a battle over this. Look at this. Whoops. I found that on a thrifting excursion. So that's Johnny Cash and Elvis, and I think it's one of the posters. That's the duo there, and that's it says, and that Carl Perkins was with them. And I've seen a date, March the 10th, 1956. Yep. And I thrifted that, as a matter of fact. Now that's something you don't get a hold of very often, is something like that. Pack your Well, I'm gonna tell pack your bags story. You don't mind pack your bags, do you? Pack your bags, $1.25. When she was a little girl, her parents played those 8-track tapes of Elvis, and she would be fall asleep under the table. And she shared this with me when she was a little bitty girl, and that kind of made her. And she loves Elvis, and she grew up with Elvis, and man, that's a blast. An 8-track tape. I haven't seen one of those in decades, but yeah, when she was a little girl, pack your bags is like, I'm glad that's what that was about. Oh, I wouldn't say anything derogatory. And if you're like Brian, you just kind of smile and go on. But yes, that's how she became. No, you couldn't get anything. So she was so loves Elvis for that reason, remembering that the past and her being under the table and falling asleep when they were playing Elvis's music. Yes, I remember that. You telling me that, and you're welcome. And she's got great memories. And yes, I remember pack your bags. You telling me about that. I know I've got a really good memory. The only thing of it is, if sometimes I can remember a face but not somebody's name, and I'm like, especially those people that I went to school with. I used to do that at my grandmother's house. She would be listening to the Platters and Johnny Mathis on her hi-fi, and I would fall asleep under the dining room table. Aww, and that's sweet. Yes, I remember. My husband, that could be bad for him, but no, I'm kidding. Yes, I have a good memory. I have um, a, a photographic memory, as a matter of fact. Oh, that Jean's got a birthday. Oh, do we need to bring out the birthday bear for Miss Jean? Now, I'm looking at it right over there. Here, let's, for you guys who haven't met my birthday bear, this is the birthday bear. My grandmother loved Elvis gospel music. Trade off, I listened to Lawrence Welk with her. And so, if anyone will go ahead and play the bear for you. Oh my goodness, you better work. You're not working? Now, come on, you can't be wore out. I didn't use you that much. Oh no. It's your birthday! Happy birthday to you! Now it's your birthday! We're gonna have a good time! It's your birthday! Happy birthday to you! It's a color-filled party, party! It's a color-filled party, party! Yeah, we're gonna have a party, party! And that is the birthday bear. Of course, his little knot dropped down to here. It was up here, now it's down there, but that's the birthday bear. Yes, and I believe I got that at a YouTube auction. Oh, okay. Well, we got you early. March the 10th. Oh, okay. We might be a little late, but we made up for it. March the 10th. My daughter's birthday is March the 5th. You wouldn't think that these would even be able to exist because, a lot of that memorabilia ended up in other places. But so if you guys didn't know, Elvis and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins was the special guest. So there's your blast from the past. And that was 1956. So Elvis hadn't been singing that long. And I found that at my usual thrift store. And Brian's got ready to type something, and I know with the trio like that, and then Elvis became so popular, he was a show all in itself. So he really wasn't. His birthday was January the 8th, but he died this month. Was it August the in August? Was it the 16th? Oh, there's Bruce stopping in from Maine, and I was showing packages, and yours was one of them, the 16th. Okay. Yeah, he made the ladies scream, and good to see you, Bruce and Dennis. I hope your trip is going well. You've been eating lobster because Maine is known for their lobster. Can you believe it was been 49 years since he passed away? Wow. You guys buy any goodies while you're out there, Bruce? Go ahead and confess. Yeah, we've been sitting here looking at pretty things and talking about things, and it'll be up for sale. I'm having an auction this coming Friday. It'll be up then, guys. And if you want to, I let me see how big this is because I want to get it to where I can pack it in something that's not going to cost you a fortune. You know what I mean? So I try to stay within that 18-inch variance. And if I can, I can always take it out and cover it so we can take off several inches, unless you want me to try to do it. But usually I can do a box and a bag, and if it's within 18 inches, then we can get it cheaper. But when it goes over and it has to be sent rigid, then we have a problem. But then we could always take that out, and it would weigh virtually nothing. But yeah, that'll be up. This is one of my thrifted items. I remember Carl Perkins. So this was kind of in the beginning of Elvis's career. Yes, that's the only thing I have left. I tell you, there was a big, massive collection of plates, and I mean massive. And man, they picked them really fast. But yeah, there was. I bet there was probably 70 plates. Ouch, foot's cramping. And we had them in the auction. Yeah, they took off. People was really. We had there was a Lego set new in the box, and it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that went for almost $300 because it's a collectible. And man, they was going at it. Does my husband collect anything? He likes oil lanterns, oil lamps. Pack your bags. If she'd have been there, she'd have been a. She stood in front of the Elvis table and said, "I don't think so." But yeah, we had some different people. It was sectioned off, and there were different things, and there were different people um, doing the auction thing, so it wouldn't have lasted an eternity. Yep, that was the where with the driver's license, and yeah, that was. I don't think I'd ever seen one. No, Alfonso, I don't have any railroad lanterns. Alfonso is very into to trains and the railroad. I had a little client. He was about 35 and he loved trains. And he we would stop and I could see his heart beating a mile a minute because he loved trains so much. She probably will be. She's really a, but I just had to pack your bags was like, oh no, I hope she wasn't telling anything personal. We're at our best place called the front porch. Dennis is having an espresso martini, and I'm on my third Bloody Mary. Oh my goodness. I've never had a either one of them really. At 6 p.m., Jen. It'll be at 6 p.m. And yeah, it's kind of good. I know that, when you have a lot of shows back to back and you're busy packing, it's kind of good to kind of lean back and take a breath or two and regroup. And but I just had to tell that because I could just see pack your bags as a little girl under that table listening to falling asleep to that Friday night. Hey Lisa, welcome in. But Brian, he's not surprised because if I say something about him, he knows he can't stop me. No, it would be good though, but I did thrift some other things, guys, some pretty fat, and I'm going to bring that. I'm just going to do a live haul video, and there's some I've been picking here and there. Um, well, I did remember that you had told me that, and it was like, how that was so sweet. I know I've got a pretty good memory, but I had to show my goodies. I got my tooth was taken care of, thank God. When I first called, hey Beth, welcome in. Guys, when I first called the dentist, they said, we're booked up and I don't think we can get you in. I said, this is an emergency. And they said, well, if someone cancels, we'll call you. And she could tell that I was highly upset. Eastern Standard, Jen. The phone rang about 15 minutes later. And they said, we can get you in at 11:11. So I said, I'll be there. I'm telling you guys, I told him, I said, we're born without teeth and we probably won't have all of them before we pass. Yeah, the time zone is Eastern Standard. It's 6 p.m. And he got me in there and got her done. That darn tooth, this makes the second time that tooth broke, so he had to build a thing in there. I tell you guys, I've got a bleeping fortune in this mouth. Man. 1111, right. But yeah, I've got so much jewelry, guys. It is crazy. I've got one, two, three, four. That's a jewelry box back there. I have five jewelry boxes now. I think I'm addicted to boxes. What do you think? Get gold teeth. I had an uncle that had one of his teeth was partially. Brian's teasing me, I can tell. Back in the day, that was the thing to get the gold in your mouth, and it was quite the status, but I couldn't. Can Pack Your Bags have your bid on that picture? Let me think here. Let me look at it. Because of the rarity of it, you don't see it. I know, Beth. I'm crazy about a box. I guess my box love comes from being a little bitty. I was had blonde, real blonde hair when I was a little girl. And Brian, he loves vintage. I think that I'll just start this at about $20 because of the rarity of this. I mean, I don't know if any of these exist, but it's from 1956, and I don't believe it's a reproduction. I believe that this is what they put up to advertise the this Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, and Carl Perkins, 1956. If you had a dollar and quarter, you was in like Flynn. But it is rare. I think that because of the rarity, there's not too many left because a lot of them got ripped off the wall and thrown away. Yes, she can. Sure. Sure, she can. I don't think it's a reproduction. I have not taken the back off of it to inspect it, but there is a little bit of fading right through here, as you can see. I might pop the back off, and I really don't think it's a reproduction, but I will take a look. You can tell there's age to it by the fading. Let me douse that right there. There is a little bit of fading across that. I'll move it in. And I have never taken the back off ever. So I'm not an expert. And there's Ellie, and I showed the box from Bruce, and thank you, Miss Ellie. How sweet Ellie is. I got it. It's absolutely beautiful. Perfect length. And thank you so much, sweetie. I don't know how you authenticate something like this. I really don't know. Denise wants to give you a gift. Oh, now see how Denise is a sweet person. Like I said, I don't know how to authenticate it, guys. Your guess is as good as mine. I never took the back off of it, but I do think it's older. Now, is it from that time period? I can't say that honestly because I do not know if it truly is, but you can see some of the fading, and I've had it up here for a while. It could have been. I thrifted it. Okay, we got Denise wants to purchase it. Bruce says, Gina, I'm going to text you with my bid for Pack Your Bags. So see all the love out there. And it's good to see you, Ellie. And thank you so much. The necklace is gorgeous. But like I said, I don't know about authentication, but yeah, pack your bags. She said, don't even. But I'm not for sure. I don't know if I'm tempted to take I'll inspect it, inspect the back of it. I'm not a professional. I could not tell you if that, if this is a repop or not. But it's really cool, isn't it? I think Carl Perkins was more known for his electric guitar playing. I think he was more known for that than anything. But this is an early, that was back in the day, guys. That was really, it's really early. When I seen it, I thought, do you have an antique poster shop? I sure don't. I live down the street from Sun Studios. Wow. Yeah, I thought Carl Perkins was more of the electric guitar kind of in comparison with BB King. And I don't think he so much sung, but he really played. And Lena said it was 6 months before she was born. But somebody thought enough of it to, I don't know what this is, guys. Do you know what that significance, that number is, that 232 is? See that, guys? I wonder what that means. In parentheses there. I never really knew what that meant. And there's Face the Ace. Welcome in. So I don't know, guys, what that means, what the significance is of that. But like I said, I couldn't say yay or nay whether it was a repop or not. But someone thought a lot of it. They put it in a frame. Maybe it was a one of those fans that Elvis died right before I turned 8 years old. So it's unanimous. Pack your bags. It's yours. So I know that. And I had it up here for a while and I had a short on it, but I never offered it for sale. Must have been a reason, huh? Bruce said, let me measure it, Bruce, because I don't want to, we're going to have to figure something out because if it's, I don't want someone to pay an outlandish price for something that would go rigid. And we know how the post office is. Let's get a measurement on that. Holy cow, that's 21 and 0.25 inches long. That ain't gonna fit in no. We could, I hate to do rigid because it's gonna be over the moon expensive. But this must not be folded at all. So what do you guys suggest? How can I do this? Because if I put it in a box, I don't even think I could lean it and get it. So pack your bags. It's over 21 inches long. I don't know if I could kind of lean it and get away with it because if we stick with 18 inches, it's all good because I can slide it through at a cheaper price. But it is big. I mean, it's good size. Now, I thought about this. Being that Um, we could always do this. Now you might cringe. We could roll this up, and it's not going to be in that position for a long time. For a long time, and send it to you that way. Would that work? And then you could get your own frame because it's going to be. If we do this rigid, it's going to be outrageous. So, whatever you want to do, but I'm telling you, if we sent this rigid, it would be way, way, way expensive. It really would. Right, Bruce. I was afraid to say that because pack your bags and come to Henryville and shoot me. No, I'm kidding. I would suggest to have it in the picture frame and it would add protection to the poster. Can you send it? Yeah, I have a UPS store. There is a UPS store, absolutely. Whenever people send expensive pictures of art, etc., they roll them in tubes. That would probably be better than taking a chance on the plate glass breaking and scratching the picture. I'm telling you what, the darn post office is certainly hazardous on your stuff. And I don't know if UPS is any better, but we can talk about it and see what the best option is. Gina, how far are you from South Bend, Indiana? I have older cousins with 6 nephews in South Bend. I would say so. I'm directionally illiterate. I'm not for sure, but it's not. It's probably better than 100 miles, probably. So we're in a bar right now, and it's very noisy. Is this going to be for sale? Yes, yes. And it's up to pack your bags. Now, I'm telling you, the least expensive would be to roll it up. I'm not for sure. Eldine works at the post office. It's up to pack your bags. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. No pressure. It's not going anywhere and it is yours. So don't worry. But I don't want you to, you know, I'd have to be standing over them with the UPS watching every move they made. But it's yours. We'll figure something out. I tell you, that post office, sometimes they're not as gentle as they should be, but we'll figure it out. Sure, we can. Absolutely pack your bags because it's not going anywhere. It's yours. And it's up here. I don't think I'll have anybody break in and take your picture anytime soon. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what time it will be. Okay, Eldine, what do you think? Pack your bags. Eldine, I think, are you retired from the post office, Eldine? Or are you still working? The post office has a limit of 3 or 4 of claim you can make per year when it comes to insurance. Well, I haven't heard that, but that's not fair if your customer pays for the shipping and it says, well, you got so and so. Okay, Bruce, you're fine. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's yours. Pack your bags. Oh, you're going to retire next year. So we have an authentic post office lady in the chat that she knows exactly what she's talking about. She's been there. She knows the ins and outs of shipping, and that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'm just trying to, let you know that, but it's right here. It's not going anywhere at all. Plus, I've got killer chihuahuas at the door. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be. And see, we got a male lady out in the chat, and I'm sure she knows. Okay, Beth said to bill her for shipping, and Bruce wants to pay for it. So this might could be a two. And then Denise offered as well. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do, guys? We gotta know who's getting and doing what. Because I could just go to the UPS store and let them do it, and they better do it right. So once we know who's going to do what, let Bruce have it. So we wanted to acknowledge everybody that wanted to help. So we have Bruce going to pay for it, and Turtle Shell Beth going to pay for the shipping. Does anyone know about the free matter for the blind shipping? I know if you're blind, you can send and receive mail and packages postage free for the blind. I didn't know that. There we go. Bruce is gifting it to Beth, is paying the shipping. Because I want to get it to you, because I know the importance of it to you. And we'll get it done. I mean, it's going to be done right. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. And Eldine said it's true. Okay, Bruce, you're fine. Take your time. You kind of having like a mini vacation. No worries. The Elvis logistics is now complete. Awesome. Not a problem, Bruce. You two have a great time, and I'll aggravate you when you get back, okay? Bruce said, "You don't pick on me." Yeah, boy, I tell you what, I'll be walking into that UPS like Hulk Hogan. I bet I can ship myself out to you in a big old crate free matter for the blind. What am I going to do, Alfonso? Tie you out in the backyard till my husband gets used to you? I'm kidding. He's like, what did she just say? Yes, pack your bags. Yep, I'm gonna have to tie Alfonso in the backyard till my husband gets used to him. I couldn't help it, guys. It just slipped out. Alfonso's a smart man. He really is. He is a smart man. Not because he wants to come here, but he's very smart. Aw, yes. I can see that little blonde haired girl with the pigtails asleep under that table with Elvis blaring out of that 8-track tape deck. Oh, well, we're glad we could make you happy. There's enough sadness in the world, and if we can bestow the love, we're going to do it. Okay, Bruce, and thank you for coming in. You and Dennis have a great time, and I'll catch you later. I'm glad I never, you guys, I had that in a short, but I never offered it. And I guess there was a reason for it. Yeah, I guess there was a reason, guys. And I think everything's for a reason. It really is. So, Beth, are you and your family getting along okay? Doing okay? Everybody healthy? Elvis spreads happiness and love. That's true. That song by the Beatles is going through my mind right now. We can work it out. I don't know why. It says life is short and there's no reason for fussing and fighting, my friend. Oh, yep. That may be a real hot commodity there. I'm not an authenticator. I can't say if someone said, well, is that real? I couldn't authenticate it because I don't know. All I know is I thrifted it and there it is. And I hung on to. I don't know why I didn't offer it. I guess it was waiting on pack your bags. Oh, and thank you for the hearts. We never know what we'll find. Of course, my dentist was on the way. I passed the thrift store on the way to the coming away from the dentist. So naturally, when opportunity presents itself, you just stop in there and keep going. And I found a real. I've got some things, guys. I haven't busted them out yet. So 5:55. It's actually cool up here because the sun hasn't been. You can see the sun coming in. So I'm going to let you guys go. I just want to come on here and share some of these things with you. And that auction will be this coming Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really appreciate you guys being here. I always have such meaningful chats with you guys. And it really means a lot for both of us, I believe. So I'm going to let you go. Love you guys. And I'll catch you tomorrow on the other channel, which I didn't know if I could put up the thumbnail or not because I didn't know about my tooth situation. And this is the reason why we have Miss Gina, real people with real feelings, and we made Pack Your Bags Happy, absolutely. So thank you for the hearts. I'll catch you later. Don't forget to leave that comment after the video when you can, because that helps with the algorithm. Lenore, would you drop that genuinely Gina for me for Eldine? It's a biblically based channel. Everybody is welcome. I'm not a professional by any means. Pack your bags. It's lovely to see your deep connection with Elvis. I love him and his music. Lovely to see so much generosity. Absolutely. And there is that second channel. And I will be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. once I put that thumbnail in. But honestly, I went to put it in after I got off the show, and daggone YouTube wouldn't let me do it. And it slipped my mind that there will be a live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, guys. Love you guys. I feel like the dating game when like that. So I'll catch y'all later and thank you for being here, everyone. I really appreciate it. Bye bye, guys.